Hello, good evening everyone. Bit of a last minute Dram share stream this evening. Just decided in the last half an hour, gonna go for it. Why not? Why not? How's everybody doing? Hope you're all well, enjoying the start of the weekend. I most definitely have been. Very productive day today. Lots of tidying up the garden, getting the house sorted, cleaning windows, all that sort of good stuff. So, yeah, it's been a good start to the weekend. Had a few drinks, had a beer after my tea, and then decided to have a wee brandy, a Cavossier, which is quite nice, and thought, I fancy some old Pulteney, so why not just do a wee stream? So that was my thinking behind it all. So I've got a shout out to do tonight. Make sure I get his username right. Dog Bandit 94 is currently playing Warzone, which I think is I can't remember what it's called. I'm not a big gamer. You guys know I'm not a big gamer. Dog Bandit 94. He just made affiliate. He's a friend of mine. Ryan lives in the same town as me. Just made affiliate. So if you get a chance, check out his stream. Dog Bandit 94. Quite interesting. Quite entertaining. Gaming. A couple of laughs in there. It's always good to have that on. So yeah, Dog Bandit 94. Check him out. Good stream. So yeah, been watching a lot of the draft, the NFL draft this last few days. It's been good. Kansas City Chiefs have drafted some amazing players, which are only going to make the team stronger. So I am delighted with that. We've still got another 2 or 3 picks, I think, in the draft. So the more the merrier. I think it's going to be a good draft class for the Kansas City Chiefs this year. Last year I managed to watch the whole first round because I was on furlough and I didn't have to work the next day. But this year I watched like picks 1 to 7, and even with that, didn't go to bed till about 2:15 in the morning. So Friday was interesting at work, and I don't know how long I'm going to manage on this stream tonight. The tiredness might catch up with me. It hasn't hit me yet, but it might. So we'll see. So tonight, I didn't put a post on Facebook because I thought I'll just get it set up and get going. Tonight we are doing an old Pulteney special. We're going to go through all the standard sort of years of old Pulteney. So we've got the 12, which will be the first one, the 15 and the 18-year-old. I'm not going to do the Huddart because that would be 4 whiskies and I do not want a headache in the morning. So I decided let's do the 3 age statements of old Pulteney. Obviously they do other age statements which are well out of my price range. They do the 25-year-old. They also, that's pretty much it really for like readily available. You can buy the 25-year-old, but then that's it. They did a 40-year-old probably 5 or 6 years ago, and yeah, you're talking about $2.5 grand a bottle for that. So you're not going to see that on this stream anytime soon, unless we get loads of followers and this thing explodes, which I'm not expecting it to anytime soon. So you're going to get the 12, the 15, and the 18 tonight. Now I've done them before, so I've got my notes from last time, so it's going to be much the same. But it's another chance to experience this lovely range of whiskies. I was a late arrival to the party at Old Pulteney. I had never tried Old Pulteney before moving up to Wick itself, where Old Pulteney is made. Wick in Caithness. And Yeah, I'd never tried it, shied away from it. I don't know why, just never got around to trying it. Moved up to Wick and fell in love with the whiskey. Absolutely fell in love with it. The 12-year-old, the one I've got here, is in all the pubs. Every single pub's got a bottle of 12-year-old, as do most of the pubs in the UK. To be fair, it's one of those. It's a good whiskey to have to express that type of whiskey, i.e. a maritime type malt. Quite strong, not peated, not smoky, but that sort of strong seaside experience, which Old Pulteney gives you in heaps. The other whiskey that gives you a similar experience is Oban 14-year-old, which I'm a big fan of. I would say Oban 14 and Old Pulteney 12 are very, very similar. So if you like one, you'll like the other. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. So yeah, like I said, Wick, Caithness, very northeast sort of tip of Scotland, pretty much. Go any further north and you're at John O'Groats, which is obviously the most northerly point. Well, it's not really, but it's known as the most northerly point on the British mainland. Wick used to be known as the herring capital of Europe because the harbour in Wick used to be full of herring boats. And if you've ever been to Wick, you've seen the harbour. The story goes that when the town was at its height and the fishing was at its height, you could walk from one side of the harbour to the other across the boats. They were rammed in so tight you could get across them from one to the other. It's one of the most northern distilleries in the UK. On the mainland, obviously, off mainland, you've got Highland Park in Orkney. There could be other distilleries on Orkney that I don't know about, but on the mainland, it used to be the most northerly, but then its probably main rival in the area, Wolfburn, got established probably about 3-4 years, or probably longer than that actually, 5-6 years ago, and they now hold the most northerly distillery on the British mainland. It was established in 1826 by James Henderson, and in the name of Sir William Pulteney, who died in 1805. He was a landowner, politician and advocate, responsible for developments in Bath, Wick, the seafront in Weymouth and roads in Scotland. So Sir William Pulteney was a very busy man, and that's where Old Pulteney gets his name from. The distillery closed in 1930 due to declining trade after the local parish enforced prohibition laws. So basically, the area, people were drinking way too much whiskey, not getting anything done. So they enforced prohibition in 1930. But thankfully, it reopened in 1951. So that's quite a long prohibition when you think about it. That's 21 years of no Old Pulteney whiskey being made. Now, I think prohibition probably came off sooner, but they didn't reopen until 1951. It's owned by a company called Inverhouse Distilleries. They've got a main office in Airdrie. It's a subsidiary to Thai Brew, so it's an Asian ownership of the distillery. One of the largest alcoholic beverage companies in Southeast Asia, so a pretty big hitter in the drinks world, Thai Brew. They own and operate 5 distilleries in Scotland. They are Balblair, Balmenach, Knockdhu, Old Pulteney, and the Speyburn Distillery. The water for this whiskey is quite interesting. If you've ever driven into Wick from the south, which is the most typical direction you're going to drive into Wick, is from the south along the A9 I want to say it's the A99, or it might be the A. I think it is the A99. You go past a loch on your left-hand side called Loch Hempriggs, and that is where all the water for Old Putney comes from, and it is completely gravity fed from the wee loch to the distillery. So pretty interesting. Malted barley has virtually no peat. So I say virtually no peat. There is a slight hint of peat in the malting of the barley, but I wouldn't say it really comes through in the whiskey at all. You don't really get any hints of peat in this whiskey. And that malted barley used to come in via the sea. Wick is one of these proper fishing harbour towns where there was actually a harbour in Wick before there was a road. So to go into Wick, you'd have to go by boat until they built the road up from the A9. It's got a 4-roller Porteous mill that grinds the malt into grist. So a Porteous mill is like an old-fashioned type mill that has these big metal rollers that basically break the malt barley as it comes in and breaks it up into grist, which is what is used in the sort of fermentation process to make the whiskey. The two pot stills, so they've got two pot stills, have an unusually large boiling ball, which is where the bottle gets its shape from. If you see a picture of the stills at Old Pulteney, they've got a really big bulbous sort of ball around here and actually a flat top. Normally they have like what they call a swan neck that comes away from it, but Old Pulteney's got a pipe that comes in the side. It doesn't have the swan neck, which gives its distinctive flavour. And the reason it's one of the stills has a flat top is when the still was being delivered to the distillery, it had a swan neck, but they realised it wouldn't go in through the door. So, being practical sort of people up there, they thought, well, we'll just chop the top. That'll get the still into the still room or the still house, and we'll give that a try. So they cut the top of the still, obviously closed that off, welded it, and then decided to put a pipe in the side, and that's how this whiskey's come about. So pretty fascinating. Maturation, so they mature all their whiskey in American ex-bourbon casks or Spanish oak casks, sort of ex-sherry casks as well. So that's but majority of the whiskey's matured in American ex-bourbon and Spanish oak casks, with some specials going into the sherry casks. Now the last whiskey goes into a sherry cask, the one that we're going to try last, the 18-year-old. And they've got two types of warehouses. So you've got like the modern style warehouse, which is like the racked warehouse, where it's basically barrels on top of barrels on top of barrels right the way to the roof, right the way across. And they've also got dunnage warehouses, which is where you've got about 3 barrels sort of stacked on top of each other, and that's it, no higher. I know for a fact the 18-year-old was matured for a proportion of its life in the dunnage warehouse, but I'll come on to that later on. So that's the Old Pulteney Distillery. Fantastic place to visit if you're ever up in Caithness, if you're up in Wick. It's a must. Like, you have to go and visit the distillery. It's a really good tour. The guys there do a fantastic job of explaining the process. It's a really sort of interactive distillery tour, and you get a taste the stuff at the end, which is just really good. So yeah, highly recommend that, going to the distillery. And it's a lovely building as well. Like, it's obviously all the old buildings in Wick are built out of Caithness flagstone, which is a sort of sedimentary type rock, which is really beautiful. And around the distillery, all the walls are almost completely black. And when I was speaking to the distillery manager once about why all the walls were so black, he says it's a type of fungus that grows, or a type of mold that grows on the stone that comes from, around the distillery, because they're distilling. There's all that alcohol in the air, and that feeds this mold or fungus. I can't remember quite. He did tell me what the name of it was. I can't remember it off the top of my head. But basically, that's why all the walls are black. And funny enough, I used to have to drive through Dufftown to work years ago, and that used to take me past the Glenfiddich distillery, and it was the same there. All the walls were black, and actually even the trees, the bark on the trees were black, and that it was just from being so close to the distillery. So that's really fascinating, I think. So yeah, that was good to take. Yeah, anytime you're up there, go and have a look, have a chat to them, tell them that I sent you, and we'll maybe get a discount on the next bottle. So, right, so let's have a go at the 12-year-old. So in 2018, Old Pulteney had a rebrand, and a good one at that, I must say. There was nothing really wrong with the old bottle and the old design, but it'd been that design and that bottle for a good few years, and yeah, they just decided to give it a bit of a mix-up, which I think worked really well. At the same time, they changed their range slightly. So they used to have the 12-year-old, which they still do, so the 12-year-old's not changed. It's the same whiskey. They had the 12, they had the 17-year-old, and the 21-year-old. Now the 17 and the 21-year-old got discontinued before this rebrand, so essentially all you got to choose from was the 12-year-old. But the 17-year-old is well known as being a very, very good whiskey. And the 21-year-old won a lot of gold medals in all sorts of drinks competitions, whiskey competitions. It was a very, very successful, delicious whiskey. Now, I'm yet to try the 21-year-old, but I know that my father-in-law has a bottle opened. And last time we were visiting, I unfortunately were on antibiotics for my dodgy tooth, and the dentist and the pharmacist said to me, absolutely no alcohol with this, none. So I took their advice and I did not drink a drop, but it was frustrating because this bottle of 21-year-old Old Pulteney was open. Now I'm hoping that it'll still be available the next time I'm up, because I really want to try the 21-year-old Old Pulteney. I've heard so many good things about it. So it's a bit of a collector's item now. The 17 and the 21-year-old are collector's bottles. You're talking about £300, I think, for the 21-year-old, and at least 110 to 120 for the 17-year-old, I think. Whereas when they were in the shop, you could probably get a 17-year-old for £30 and the 21-year-old for 50. So people that have stocked up on the 21-year-old have definitely done well on their investment. So yeah, so they ditched the 17 and the 21-year-old and decided to replace them with the 15 and the 18-year-old. So they just sort of brought the ages back, which I think was quite a good move, because it meant that the whiskey continued to be relatively affordable. Obviously, as you go up the scale, these whiskies do get more expensive. The 12-year-old, you're looking at anywhere between £28 and £32 a bottle, depending what deals are on in what shops. But as we go up the age ranges, the value goes up, quite dramatically, actually. For example, between like I said, the 12 is 28 to 32. The 15 is 65 to £70 a bottle. So it's a big jump, You're almost doubling the cost there. And I've not got the price of the 18-year-old in front of me, or do I? Yeah, 110 to 120 pounds for the 18-year-old. So it jumps up, again, pretty dramatically between the 15 and the 18. But it's worth it. Honestly, it's worth it. It's money well spent. So yeah, let's pour ourselves a 12-year-old. Now, my bottle of 12-year-old is getting quite low, but in our house we always have another one waiting in the wings. So when we finish this, there's another one waiting to be opened. So not a problem. Let's have a quick look at the bottle. This one's been out of the cupboard, so it's a little bit dusty. Better clean it for you. There you go. Yes, the main difference with the rebrand is the bottle was a bit stouter. The old bottle used to be taller, not as thick, not as broad. They've got this lovely Wick Caithness inscription on the shoulder of the bottle. They've kept, obviously, the distinctive bulge here on the top. They also redesigned the label. It's more this sort of textured paper now. Got a really nice sort of, it's not gold, it's like copper coloured sort of accents down the bottom here, and it says the maritime malt, which is what Old Pulteney is known for, as being a maritime malt, being a whiskey of the sea essentially, or made by the sea. And it says on the front here, born in the port of Wick Caithness, matured over fine American oak, robust yet smooth with a delicate hint of sea air. And especially on the nose of this whiskey, you can definitely smell the sea air. I'm not kidding you. And then I think the old bottle had this as well, but they've got this sort of compass at the bottom, so it's quite nice when you look through the bottle, through the whiskey, you can see that compass there, which is really quite quite nice. When you're looking at that bottle, it does get the juices flowing. So let's open it up. Now, one thing I will say about this whiskey, and I've said it before and I'll say it again, is they've got the compass thing at the top here. You can see that, which is great, nice. But the top's made of plastic, which I'm not a fan of any plastic tops on any of my whiskies. I would rather they would have tried to make it out of wood. I know that is possible to get a similar effect in wood with that, because Wester Distillery, who make rum, their old bottle had a wooden top and it had a compass sort of design in it, so it's possible. But there you go. I'll not hold it too much against them, because otherwise I'll get lynched next time I'm up in Wick. But it's got a good cork, a good proper cork, so that's a thumbs up from me. So we'll pour ourselves I'm not going to pour myself big drams tonight, because I've already had a few drinks, and as I always say, drink responsibly. There's no need to go overboard. We're here to enjoy the whiskey, not to get smashed on it. It's like such a familiar smell that, like, it takes me back to sitting in a pub in Wick called the Nevis Dew, which is on top of the hill above the harbour. And we would drink a lot of this whiskey in that pub. It's got a really sweet nose. Quite a lot of a vanilla and this sort of salty sea air. The colour of it, it's described as deep amber. Now, I wouldn't say it's deep amber. I would say it's more of a sort of dark gold. But it's a lovely colour. Unfortunately, there are colourants added to this whiskey, which I'm not a big fan of colourants being added. I'd rather my whiskey be a lighter colour but natural. But what you got to remember is this whiskey is targeted towards the sort of mass audience. This is not really targeted to your discerning whiskey drinker. It's really targeted to the masses, because you'll find it in supermarkets, you'll find it in most off licenses. So they're trying to entice people into it just with the colour. So that's how they've added some colourants into it. So apparently it is only ex-bourbon casks have been used to mature this whiskey, so no sherry influence in this whiskey at all. All ex-bourbon hogshead, I think, casks is the smaller ones. I think I'm right in saying that. Please let me know if I'm not right. Oh, Kevs, Wolfburn is a... Oh, well, there you go. I couldn't comment. I've got to be quite... what's the word? You know what I mean. I'll try not to be too discriminatory. So, yeah, like I said, I've added some colour, but it's a nice colour. They haven't got over the top, you know. They've just added a little bit of colour to that. So yeah, deep amber with a slight pink hue. Apparently, I'm not seeing that myself. I don't know. I'm not seeing a pink hue. Don't know about you. I'm not seeing it. So the nose, it's quite a sort of, you know, medium to high intensity nose. It's, you know, you whack that under the nose of a non-whiskey drinker, they're gonna pull back pretty quick. But yeah, sort of medium to high intensity, quite dry. Like I said, sweet, bit of vanilla coming out through there, and that hint of sort of sea air, you know. Lovely. Looks good in the glass, but let's give it a taste. Oh, it's sweet. It's quite floral. Citrus, lots of citrusy notes coming through. It's lovely. It is smooth. It's quite smooth. You know, I wouldn't give it to a non-whiskey drinker as a first whiskey to start drinking, but if you know somebody that's been into whiskey for the last sort of year or two, they want to explore something a bit different, they want to maybe just push themselves out of their comfort zone a little bit, give them a try of Old Portney 12-year-old. I think they'll enjoy it. It's faintly salty, ever so slightly briny. And you get sort of toffee notes coming through as well. It's a little bit of spice, and I would say a sort of medium to long finish. I wouldn't say it's a long finish. It doesn't last awfully long, but it lasts long enough. You know, it's just hits the spot. Absolutely hits the spot. Once when I was speaking to the distillery manager, he said that somebody asked him a question: do you add salt into the whiskey? Which obviously they don't. They would never do that in a million years. But it gets that brininess and that sort of salty sea air smell because it is matured by the sea. There's no getting around it. That if you park your car by the sea long term, it's going to get rusty. The salt water is going to get into it through the spray, and all that. So this distillery is surrounded by sea air, so it's going to pick up those notes. Similarly, if the distillery was based near a sewage plant or a landfill, it's gonna take in those notes. So that's why you don't find distilleries near any of those things. You see them usually in quite rural areas, close to the sea, places that have got relatively clean, fresh air, and that's what you get in this, is that lovely sea. That's like standing on top of a cliff and there's like a big storm brewing and you've got waves crashing underneath you and you take a real deep breath in. This is what you get. It's just beautiful. You can almost sort of make out the smell of, seaweed and the sort of grasses by the cliffs. It's just really good. Lovely. So, as you all know, never finish a whiskey without putting a drop of water in, or a drop or two. Got my red straw tonight. This is for the Kansas City Chiefs. Go Chiefs. So I use this like a pipette. 1, 2. I normally, well, actually, I'll put 3. I normally put 2 to 3 drops in. Obviously, depending how much water you've got in your vessel and how far down you go, it'll tell you how much water you. But you're sort of looking at like that much, the bottom of the straw. 2 or 3 of them, and that's enough. It is enough to get the whiskey opened up, more smells to come from it, and more flavours. See, I would say on the nose, it's dulled it down. Even those 3 drops, it's dulled it down a little bit on the nose, so it's not as strong. Now, some whiskies, you put water in, it'll actually be stronger on the nose, and maybe lighter on the taste, or vice versa. So this has gone lighter on the nose, so there's a chance it'll be stronger on the palate. Let's give it a try. If anything, slightly mellower, actually. Slightly mellower. It's just sort of softened all the edges, really. Just made it into a really nice... It reminds me a bit of a brandy. Now, I was drinking brandy tonight, so that's maybe why it's reminding me of brandy, but that reminds me more of a brandy now. It's really sweet. It's quite moreish. You want to drink more and more of it. So yeah, that's a good one. Like I said, price-wise, £28 to £32. That is nothing for a bottle of whiskey. Nothing. So well worth a try if you're in the supermarket and you think, oh, I fancy a whiskey. You might see this one and think, right, yeah, I'm gonna go for it. And like I said, it's probably only going to cost you £30. So it'd be the best £30 you spent this year. Bet you that for nothing. So yeah. Lovely, very good. So very used to the 12-year-old. You know, it's one of our go-to whiskies in the house. If we're going to have a whiskey, you know, I would normally go for a Cragganmore or an Old Pulteney 12-year-old. They are very much, for me, on the same level. My wife obviously prefers the Old Pulteney because she's from Wick. And yeah, so that's the 12-year-old. Very nice. Thoroughly enjoy it every time. Next up is the 15-year-old. Now this is my wife's favourite. I do like it. I like all the Old Pulteneys. There's not one Old Pulteney that I don't like. Simple as that. But the 15-year-old is my wife's favourite. I should have said actually the 12-year-old is 40%. Bog standard single malt strength, 40%. This is 46%. So slightly stronger, but nothing crazy. Like I said earlier on, £65 to £70 a bottle. So it's a little bit on the more expensive side. But if you like the 12-year-old, gives you a bit of confidence to go for the 15. That's what I would say. If you like the 12-year-old and you're really a big fan of it, I would say once you finish your 12-year-old, maybe give this a try. It's a bit darker than the 12-year-old. I don't know if you can see. I'll hold the 12-year-old next to it so you can see the difference. Ever so slightly, but it is definitely darker. It is described as a rich amber. Now, the 12 was described as deep amber, and this is described as rich amber. Now, I would say the 12 would be dark gold, and this would be more like deep amber, personally. But I'm just going off what it says on the old internet. It's non-chill filtered, which means that the 12-year-old must be chill filtered. Non-chilled filtered whiskey, it's a little bit more pure. Basically, you get a more raw flavour. The chill filtered stuff sometimes loses a bit of the sort of specialness in the chill filtration system. But the non-chill filtered stuff is definitely what you want to be looking out for. If you see that on the bottle, or you see that described as non-chill filtered, you know it's like the proper stuff, you know. Same again, it says born in the port of Wick, Caithness. Double matured in ex-bourbon and Spanish oak casks. Intense and balanced with a hint of sea air. So it says traditionally crafted for rich character, which they all say that on the label. Same bottle, obviously same design. A light a light blue instead of a sort of dark blue. And yeah, it's a nice presentation. The boxes, I haven't got the boxes to hand, but the boxes are quite nice. Cardboard boxes, square with a sort of pull off lid. Now the lid inside has got plastic, which again, I've got a bit of a thing about plastic packaging in whiskey because I don't think it's particularly required. But I suppose to have that pop lid, you sort of have to have some sort of frame to be able to close it properly. So, but yeah, same bottle basically, same plastic lid, and obviously underneath you've got the nice compass. Now there's more whiskey in this bottle, so I can show you it better. Yeah, so yeah, colour like I said, rich amber. Let's pour ourselves a wee dram. Oh, that's a good sound. That is a good sound. Here you go. Again, pouring myself a responsible dram. Nothing too serious yet. Well, actually, that's not a bad nip. That. It's quite intense on the nose. A lot more intense than the 12-year-old. But it's sort of quite balanced as well. Yeah. You start off smelling this whiskey and think, whoa, and then you realise, oh, actually, okay, it's not as scary as I first thought. That's your sort of initial. But you get lots of like dried fruits, really rich smells in this whiskey. Apples, sort of ripe apples, citrus. The citrusy notes are still there, but real sharp sort of honey sweetness, like real sweet notes. And again, the vanilla, a really creamy vanilla comes through with this. It's a lovely smelling whiskey. If anything, I would say it smells a little bit on the smoky side. There's a hint of smoke in this whiskey. I don't know if that's intentional or what. It could have come from the cask where it was toasted or sort of charred on the inside. That's maybe where that little bit of smokiness is coming from. But yeah, I can see why this is my wife's favourite. It's got a real classic smell to it. Really nice. And this whiskey glass is again a Caolila glass, all the way from Islay. Thank you to them for giving us these glasses for visiting the distillery. That is a completely different whiskey. It's on the taste, it's like really fragrant, but really rich at the same time. Yeah, it's gorgeous. It's like that. You get like chocolatey notes coming through. Like really strong chocolate. If you thought about like this high cocoa content stuff, it's got that sort of dryness about it. And like that sort of dark toffee sweetness, like but not burnt toffee, but almost burnt toffee, if you know what I mean. And again, you get the brininess. With any Old Pulteney whiskey, you're going to get that because it's all matured by the sea. So you're going to get that in all whiskies from Old Pulteney. And it's got that on the nose as well. So if you know somebody that really likes, for example, salted caramel or salt and chili chocolate, I think that was a thing a while back. If somebody's mad into that and they like the whiskey, get them this stuff. Because that just hits all the right notes. Because it's got a chili sort of note to it. It's quite peppery towards the end of the flavour, but you've got that brininess, you've got the saltiness, and that sort of almost burnt toffee. So it's got all the things that somebody who likes that, weird combinations like chili, chocolate, and chili. No, chili, chocolate, and salt, or salt, chili, chocolate. I can't remember who did that years ago. Was it? I don't think Cadbury's ever did that, but somebody definitely did salt and chili chocolate. You can check it out. I'm sure somebody did it. I'm sure. I never tried it. I like my milk chocolate too much. Yeah, delicious whiskey. Really, the price goes from £28 to £32 for the 12 to 65 to 70 for this, but you can tell, you wouldn't be disappointed with this whiskey. If you paid the top dollar, £70 for this bottle, you'll not be disappointed. It's just delicious. I've got to remind myself to put some water with it and not just finish it. Put a couple of bits of water in. Let's put a couple of bits. 1, 2. I'm going to put 4 this time because it's a slightly stronger whiskey, so it can take slightly more water. For example, a cask strength whiskey at 60-65%, you can put a real good glug of water with it and it'll not make any difference. No, it will make a difference, but it'll not ruin the whiskey. But this whiskey is slightly stronger at 46% compared to 40%. So you can afford to put a little bit more water with it. Just a little bit. Smells spicier on the nose now with that bit of water. So less rich, more spicy on the nose. A lot more spicy on the palate now with that bit of water. A lot more tingle on the tongue, I would say. Definitely. So yeah. It's sort of, that water actually simplifies the whiskey a bit. Now you might want that, you might not want that. It's sort of it just makes it you lose some of the chocolatey, fruity sort of notes. You're just sort of really left with the sort of pepperiness on the tongue, pretty much. So it sort of simplifies the whiskey down. So personally, I wouldn't add water with this whiskey. Next time I drink this whiskey, I think I said this in this last stream, but I've forgotten that last stream. But I'm starting to remember now that I think I might have said this in the last stream. With this whiskey, I would personally just drink it straight. And I rarely say that. But with this whiskey, yeah. The whiskey doesn't develop at all really with the water. It doesn't improve. And your experience with a bit of water is less than your experience without water. So that's how I would say, just drink it straight, I would say. Drink it as is. As it comes from the bottle. That's what I would say with that. Aye. So yeah, I wonder if Dog Bandit 94 is still streaming. Let's have a look. He's still streaming. He's still streaming. Dog Bandit 94. Check him out if you get a chance. Yeah, trying to think when was the last time I streamed. It was about 2 weeks ago, I think, or just over 2 weeks ago now. It was Friday night, two and a bit weeks ago. I think I've had a few new followers since then. Kaffer90 is a new follower. There you go. And I think Jam the Hero was also a new follower. There you go. Yeah. Oh, hello, Real Water Killer. How are you getting on? Yes, I do love whiskey. Good to see you on the stream. I don't think I've seen you here before, so welcome. Favorite. Yeah, good to see you. This bad boy, which I'm going to be drinking next, so you've come right at the perfect time. Old Pulteney 18-year-old. That is my current favourite. I'm currently just finishing off the Old Pulteney 15, so if you hang about, you will see. You'll see me drinking that. You're a student. Well, that's fine. Because the last whiskey, Bowmore's lovely. Bowmore 15-year-old Darkest is my favourite Bowmore. Really good Islay whiskey that's not too peaty. So if you're a fan of Bowmore, you're doing well. Have you tried this? The Old Pulteney 12. You say you're a student, so you might not have a lot of spare cash. So the Old Pulteney 12 is a cracking whiskey. If you like Bowmore, I can guarantee you will like Old Pulteney 12. This is about 28 to 32 pounds a bottle. Now, any student can afford that, surely. So that would be my pick for you, is an Old Pulteney 12. Give it a try. You'll not be disappointed. Yes, no, that's true. Yeah, absolutely, that's a good call. That's the way to try and explore whiskies, is to buy a measure from a bar, because then you're not investing in the full bottle, and you get to try before you buy. Now, if you go to a really good whiskey shop, they will have a selection of whiskies open for you to try. So, Bowmore 12 is a good whiskey. I've had it. Cracking whiskey. Have you tried the Bowmore 15 Darkest by any chance? Real. I'm just going to call you Real. Bowmore 15 Darkest. That is a cracking whiskey. I got that from my parents as a gift for Christmas about 6-7 years ago, maybe even longer. Enjoyed it so much. It was just delicious. It's finished in like a sherry cask, and it's really, like as the name suggests, it's really dark. It's a really dark colour, and it's sweet. No, I had the number 1 Bowmore. That was so spicy. Oh, thanks for the follow, Real. Thank you very much. Cheers. What are you saying here? Number 1 Bowmore. I've never heard of that. I have to look into that. The number 1 Bowmore. Pretty trash. Ooh, that's disappointing. If you like Bowmore, another Islay whiskey that you might enjoy is Bunnahabhain. Have you heard of that one? It's the one that comes in a short, stumpy bottle, a bit like this sort of shape bottle. It comes in a bottle that sort of shape, and it's got a picture of a sailor steering a boat. I don't know if it's, but you don't steer a boat, do you? I don't know what you do with a boat, but he's doing that. You had it for a tasting. Oh, right, good. Did you enjoy it? The 12, would have been the 12-year-old? The 18-year-old's amazing. The 12, potentially. But no. Oh, this is why I get so excited about whiskey, because there's like so many different. Yeah, so it was okay. That's fine. That's good. I thought you might like that. If you like Bowmore 12. I'm just trying to think what's similar to Bowmore 12. But yeah, Old Pulteney 12. Give that a try. I think you'll enjoy it. Or Oban 14-year-old is a very similar whiskey. Probably it is more expensive actually. Oban 14 is about 42 to 44 pounds a bottle. So you're a bit more expensive for an Oban 14, but it is a cracking whiskey. Yeah, of course you can. Go for it. Go for it. My stream is your stream. What is your favourites? Go for it. I'm looking forward to seeing what you've got. And by any chance, where are you based? Are you in the UK? Are you in America? Are you Europe? It'd be quite interesting to see where you are so we can work out what's going to be available to you. But yeah, this 15-year-old's good. It's good. It's nice. But like I said, I wouldn't add water with this 15-year-old. I would just drink it straight. But it's like the 12-year-old on steroids or something, this whiskey. It's like the 12-year-old, you know, I don't know, took some illicit substance. That's what this tastes like. A 12-year-old gone mad is the 15-year-old. But I'm very much looking forward to getting to the next one. The 18-year-old, my favourite. When I say my favourite, what I mean is I've got different levels of favourites. Real water kid. Oh, here we go. So Glenfiddich 12 is lovely. Yes, agree. Jameson's, yes. Jameson's Black Barrel. I've never had that. I've got a bottle of Jameson's in the house, but I've never tried Black Barrel, so I need to try that one. Johnny Walker Black Label is good too. You're from Germany. Welcome. That's a good selection of whiskies. You've obviously got quite a good taste in whiskey. Because the Glenfiddich 12, good classic Scotch single malt, real classic. If you like single malts, you'll like the Glenfiddich 12. It's just a brilliant classic single malt. Jameson's a really good blend, a really good Irish blend. Black Barrel, I'll need to try that. I've never tried it. And to be honest with you, Johnny Walker is a whiskey that I've never really tried. The Black Label is good. Which Johnny Walker is the most? Is like the really well known? Is it a Green Label or Blue Label or something? I can't remember. There's a Johnny Walker that's like really expensive. I can't remember which one it is. I know you can get a gold label, black label, red label, green label, blue label, and I think that's about it. But then you've got the specials as well, the Game of Thrones Johnny Walkers, and yeah, Johnny Walker's got quite a big following. Red label is trash. It's super oily. Oh, okay. It sticks into your mouth for a long time. Okay. Well, you see, I don't mind whiskies that have a long finish as long as it's a nice finish. But if it's a finish you don't like, you think Mother Jan thinks Red Label is the one that's it's a bad finish. Real says it's a bad finish on the Red Label, right? So I wonder if that's like if you say it's super oily, there's a chance that could be their sort of the whiskey that they're trying to get people that like Islay whiskies maybe into. So I need to do more reading on this, but potentially Johnny Walker sort of say, what am I trying to say here? Right, red labels for Islay drinkers, green labels for Highland drinkers, gold label is for, you know, it's not smoky, it's just full of oil. Right, okay, oil. Like, I'm gonna have to look into this Red Label. Oily, thick, oily. Is it physically thick? Black Label has some smoky elements to it. It's like higher. Right, okay, yeah. Right, okay. I suppose, yeah, Black Label you would naturally think that that would be the smoky one, because obviously burnt things are black. So yeah, that would make sense. Yeah, Johnny Walker's just not something I've ever really got into. I think I might have tried Green Label or something at one point, but yeah, Johnny Walker is another like department that I need to really look into. Does it have lots of legs, Mother Jan? Wow, that's good to know. And that would make sense, because if it's an oily whiskey, it will naturally have more legs. I'll show you the legs on the next whiskey. We'll finish this 15. Lovely, very good, very enjoyable. And you might see me sometimes sort of swilling the whiskey around my mouth. It's a little bit awkward on stream because I'm obviously not saying anything. I'm swilling this whiskey around my mouth, and you're probably thinking, what the hell is he doing? But what I'm doing is I'm trying to get the whiskey around all my taste buds and around my mouth, because your whole mouth is involved in the tasting experience. And if you don't swill it around, you're not getting all the flavours out of it. So there's a sort of rule of thumb that you should hold the whiskey in your mouth for as long as it is old. So this one is 18. So I should hold this whiskey in my mouth for 18 seconds. And what happens then is your saliva starts mixing with the whiskey, and it actually changes flavour in your mouth. So this is my favourite whiskey. But when I say favourite whiskey, I've got different categories of favourite whiskies, right? So my favourite day-to-day whiskey, like bog standard normal whiskey, is Cragganmore 12-year-old, right? Now, this is Cragganmore Distiller's Edition, but it looks similar, okay? Cragganmore, quite an old-fashioned looking label, standard Scotch bottle. That is what most of your Scotch whiskey is going to come in, that type of bottle. But yeah, Cragganmore 12-year-old. Cragganmore. That is my favourite day-to-day whiskey, okay? So there's that. My favourite special whiskey is this, the Old Pulteney 18. And the reason it's my favourite special whiskey is because this has got quite a price tag. It's £110 to £120 for a bottle, right? So it's not cheap. Okay, it's something to savour and to make it last. Like, I've gone through probably a bottle and a half of Cragganmore since I've had this bottle, and this is still half full. So I try and just make sure I only drink this on special occasions, when I'm I feel like I really want a nice whiskey. So yeah, the Old Pulteney 18, favourite sort of special whiskey. Now, I know there's whiskies out there that are probably going to be a hell of a lot more tasty than the Old Pulteney 18, but I've not tasted them yet. But I will someday. I was actually speaking to a guy the other day who went to Macallan, to the distillery. All round the year, yes. Good on you. Enjoy your Bowmore 12. It's a cracking whiskey. Really good. So this boy was saying he went to Macallan, went to the distillery, did the tour. At the end of the tour, they went to the bar, thought have a few drinks, as you do. And they thought, first thing they did was, let's see what the most expensive whiskey is that they could have at the bar, right? So they went down the price list, and they found a whiskey, and it was £13,000, and you instantly think, that'll be for the bottle. No. £13,000 for a nip, for a measure of that whiskey. £13,000. I think it was like a 1958 Macallan, which is just ridiculous. £13,000 for a nip. So a nip, if you're not sure, a nip is a measure of whiskey, a dram. A nip of whiskey. So, like I said, with same bottle, same design, different colour, dark blue with a sort of crisscross this time. It says on the front here, double matured in ex-bourbon and Spanish oak casks, intense and warming with a hint of sea air. So like most of the old Pulteney's have got this hint of sea air comment on them. I know a little bit of intel about this whiskey that is not readily available online. The intel is this whiskey was matured in a certain part of the warehouse, right? So, you know, I was telling you earlier on about the you've got the racked warehouse where it's like bottles on top, casks on top of casks on top of casks, yeah? So that's your racked warehouse. Yeah. Now, Mother Jan says 1958 was a very good year. I think it was. It obviously was. So yeah, you've got the racked warehouses, yeah? And then you've got the dunnage warehouse where it's like 2 or 3 barrels on top of each other. They're sort of stacked. So you've got like 2 barrels and then 1 there. Do you know what I mean? With bits of wood in between. And this whiskey, so it was originally, I think, matured in ex-bourbon, and then it was transferred into the Spanish oak casks. Real Water Killer says in Germany we've still got Thura wines. Thura wines. Fura. I.e. Right. Fura as in the Fura. Like World War II Fura. Fura wines. Oh, aye. So his wines. Oh my God. Yeah. Oh, gee whiz. And are they worth a lot of money? I'm sure they are. A lot of euros. Wow, amazing. Fura wines. How much does a bottle of Fura wine cost? In euros, if you want, or pound. Well, no, don't say pounds. You don't want to hassle you into doing the conversion. Excuse me. I told you this tiredness would hit me. I told you. So sitting up watching the draft on Thursday night into Friday morning. Oh, gee whiz. I don't know. I studied to become an English and history teacher. Very good. Well done. So, so like what I was saying. So it was transferred from the American ex-bourbon casks into the sherry casks. Right? The I am a Detroit Lions fan. Oh, well, somebody has to be a Detroit Lions fan. So well done you for taking that hit. But you've got to feel for me as well, because I'm a Chiefs fan, and you know what Tom Brady did to us in February. You know, I think you did quite well on the draft, though. Real. I was just going to see who you drafted in the first round. I think you did quite well from memory. Let's have a look. So the Detroit Lions, you'd have been what, pick number 4 or something? No, sorry, you were pick number 7. Penny Sewell, offensive tackle from Oregon. Good. Then you had... Did you have 2 picks yesterday or 1? No, you just had the 1. What did you have today? But you've got Matt Rule. Matt Rule is the head coach now. He used to be the head coach of Baylor University. Very good head coach, I would say. Levi Oxozaki, defensive tackle, Washington. He seems to have pretty good picks. So what was I saying? Yeah, so the barrels are stacked on top of each other in this dunnage warehouse. And what the distillery manager did is he knew there was a part of the warehouse that was quite damp and mouldy. Okay? Now, we would all say, oh no, don't mature any whiskey anywhere near that. But he decided to put this whiskey in that corner, in that damp, mouldy corner of the distillery. He knew what he was doing. Because what happened was it produced this beautiful 18-year-old whiskey with lots of sort of dark chocolate and rye bread sort of flavours, right? You've got Matt Prater, best kicker ever. I would say the best kicker ever would be... Oh, who would be the best kicker ever? Our kicker's pretty good. What's his name now? Colquitt, not Colquitt. Yeah, it's Colquitt. I can't remember. He's a good kicker. Very good. Very good. He's good at the field goals, is he? We better not turn into American football talk here. He's got the longest field goal in the NFL. Good on him. Well done. Well done. Do you follow the Pat McAfee podcast or the YouTube Pat McAfee? Do you follow that at all, Real? He's good. He's good fun. No, oh, check him out. Pat McAfee. I'll type it into the thing so you... Just type this into... type that into Google and... that's right, isn't it? Or is it... Oh, hang on. I don't think it's double F. I think it's... Hang on. I think it's F-double-E. Hang on. Subscriptions. Yeah, sorry, it's one F-double-E. So it's... Hang on, I'll type it again. Pat. There you go. Type that into Google and you will... it's quite funny. They do a lot of funny stuff on there. It's quite good. The guy is like a million miles an hour. Like... You would think he's on something, but he's not. He's just like very high energy, very high energy. As they say in American football, he's got a high motor. So yeah, the distillery manager did a really good job with this whiskey. Just matured it in a certain part of the warehouse that got lots of unusual flavours and smells out of this whiskey. So it's been sat in the glass for a while. Mother Jan was talking about the legs. Let's have a look at the legs. So what you do is spin the whiskey around and then leave it for a minute. This whiskey smells to me like if you open a classic car door and it's got leather interior. That smell. So legs wise in this whiskey, was the odd leg appearing? Not very... Oh, here we go. Here they go. See them just coming down. Very spaced out. Very... Ooh, there's a few legs there. See them? Very good. Oh, the smell of this whiskey is amazing. Absolutely amazing. Like you can see where the extra cost is in this whiskey. It smells special. You know, it really smells special. Now the colour is apparently deep amber, which I would agree. It's quite a deep colour. It's all natural, it's all non-chill filtered, so all natural colours. That's all come from the cask and all that. Lots of spices on the nose, like cinnamon, cookie. You get a bit of cookie dough, like that oaky sort of dryness, and a bit of sort of charcoaly sort of campfire sort of smell. Oh, it's just beautiful. Like I could literally smell this whiskey all day. I haven't got Bowmore 12 in the house. I've had Bowmore 12 in the past, but I've never actually had a bottle of it in the house. I'll need to do maybe I'll do a Bowmore special. I know you can buy those little miniature boxes with the 12, the 15, the 18. I'll need to get one of them. I'll let you know, Real, when we're doing that. It just smells so good. Like it almost smells so good you don't want to drink it because you know once you drink it's gone. God, it just smells delicious. It's like dark chocolate, like green. You get a bit of green apple, like a bit of bitterness, and a bit of spice on the tongue. Vanilla, like rye bread, quite, I can't afford the tiny boxes. I'm just a student. Yeah, like miniatures. That's a good point, actually. Miniatures don't cost what like that amount of whiskey should cost. It probably costs double. So a miniature should probably only cost you £2.50, but actually it costs about £5.50, which is ridiculous. But I suppose they've got to bottle it, they've got to package it, they've got to do all this sort of stuff for it. So I suppose per litre or per milliliter, it's more expensive to produce than a big bottle. I'm sure you can afford the tiny boxes. You just have to squirrel away £20-30 somewhere, and you can get one of those miniature box sets. And you can try your 12, the 15, the 18. Lovely. That's the thing to do. Make sacrifices elsewhere, and yeah, good. You're gonna give that a try. Good. So yeah, dark chocolate on the palate. This sort of bitter green apple, and this sort of rye bread. I don't know how to describe it. It's like maltiness, I suppose. Yeah, because rye bread is a type of, grain, malty. It's good stuff. Really good stuff. And it's quite, you're drinking a good quality whiskey. It's not like wishy-washy. It's like, here I am, deal with it, sort of whiskey, which I love. I do really love. I just put a bit of water with this whiskey, and it's like it's got a little bit more spicy on the nose, and sort of like cinnamon. Those spices are coming out of it. Cinnamon, that oak dryness just amplifies it. It's lovely. This glass, by the way, Royal Mile Whiskies, put it there. So Royal Mile Whiskies got this glass at the Whiskey Fringe Festival in 2000 and I think it was 2013. I think it was. And this is the glass that you got when you walked in the door to try all the whiskies. So this glass has had a 40-year-old Bunnahabhain in it. Would you believe? It's also had a 25-year-old Glenfarclas. I think I had there as well. It's had lots of amazing whiskies in it. So I like to try and remember certain glasses, what that glass has had in it. The 40-year-old Bunnahabhain was out of this world. But a bottle of 40-year-old Bunnahabhain is going to set you back about 3-4 grand. So I was lucky enough to get a taste of one there. So the £25-30 ticket was well worth it. Just with that whiskey. So I put a bit of water with this now, and more citrusy notes coming out of it. Oh, it was good, real. It was really good. It was an amazing thing. The tickets for the Whiskey Fringe, obviously during non-COVID times, the tickets for the Saturday sold out within 5 minutes of going on sale. I got them one year, didn't get them the next, and then the year after I decided to go for the Sunday ticket straight away, and I got 2 tickets quite easily. Like the Saturday ticket sells out in 5 minutes. The Sunday, then you got the Friday, because it runs Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So obviously Saturday's the most sought after tickets, but like this, then it goes Sunday tickets sells out within like 15 minutes, and the Friday tickets sell out in about 20-30 minutes. So I think actually that second year, me and my wife, we went on the Friday, and we got absolutely hammered in Edinburgh, and then we got the train back to Stirling because we were staying with friends of ours in Stirling, and it was quite comical. We were properly smashed on the train, and people were probably looking at us thinking, what the hell have these two been up to? But it was good fun, really good. And then back to Stirling to stay with our friends, and we had Domino's Pizzas takeaway, which is which is amazing, really good. I knew I was going to get tired tonight because I was watching the draft on Thursday night. Excuse me if I'm yawning, but I was up till about 2:15 on Thursday night, Friday morning. Yeah, so I knew I shouldn't have done it. You know how it is, you're like, oh no, I shouldn't do that, it's not good, it's not good. Yes, I will be late with you, Real. It'll be about, 22 minutes past 1? Or is it 22 minutes past... Yeah, 22 minutes past 1, surely. Yeah, thought it was. You guys are an hour. I've been to Germany. I've been to Bremen. I've been to Hamelin. And there's a place called Göttingen. It's got a forestry university there. Went there. Göttingen. Yeah, that's the one. Göttingen, that's the one. Been there. Yeah, good. Love Germany. Amazing country. Amazing scenery. Really want to go back. Really want to go back to Germany. Love the beer. The beer. Big thumbs up with the beer. The Weissbier. And I quite like the Polander. Not Polaner, something like that. Yes, I live in the former capital, which would be... I should know what the former capital is. It's not Berlin. Yes, Paulaner Dunkel, dark. Yeah, good. And the schnitzel was amazing. And Real, do you know about kohlrabi? Kohlrabi is amazing. Kohlrabi. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. Bonn was the west. Oh, I see. Yeah, you know kohlrabi. It's like it's like our version of it's your version, sorry, of cheese and cauliflower cheese. We do cauliflower cheese in the UK, but kohlrabi is amazing. With we had it with like duck and red cabbage. Yeah, red cabbage. Oh. Like the German diet is my sort of diet, but I must admit, after eating German food for a week, I was desperate for a salad. I was just desperate for something really plain, because all the food in Germany is like 9, 10 on the scale. You know, it's like rich food, deep fried this, rich flavor. Oh, I needed something like a salad, something plain. Oh God, it was good though. Love Germany, love it. I see. Depends. Well, we were sort of more in that sort of north central region. We flew into Denmark, into Copenhagen, worked our way down Copenhagen and then into Germany, Made it as far down as Göttingen, I think. I think Göttingen's further south than Hamelin. Went to Hamelin, flew out of Bremen back to Bristol in the UK. So it's like sort of north central region, I would say. Yeah. Amazing. Schnitzel. Oh, schnitzel is the best. Love it. Love it. Yeah. Actually, the more I talk about it, the more I really want to go back to Germany. So amazing. Love it. We had a good guide tour as well. Like, it was a study tour with another university, and it was the main sort of tutor from the other university that organised it. He was a native of Germany, and spoke about 6 different languages. He basically organised the whole thing, had all the contacts, and we just followed along. Excuse me. Oh, and it was amazing. Did I put water in that whiskey? I did, didn't I? Yeah. It was good. It was a good tour. It was really good. We saw some amazing forests. We went to see the lynx up in the woods. The lynx that are kept in cages. What else did we see? Well, in Denmark, we saw the black sun, which is basically where starlings come into roost, and they make big funny shapes in the sky. Amazing. We were in Prague. Oh, right. Prague. Now you're testing my thingy. Where's Prague? Prague's the capital of... I can't remember. Prague. It's the capital somewhere, isn't it? That's where my Europe geography lets me down. Yes, Czech Republic. Yes. East of Germany. Aye. East. Yeah. Czech. I should have known that because Prague, they do lots of good beers there, don't they? What they called? Pilsner beer. Oh, love a Pilsner. Do love a Pilsner. I also love Asahi beer. Love it. Amazing. Super dry. Oh. Give it a try if you've not tried it. Amazing. Really good beer. Do love my lager in the summer, and I do love my real ale in the winter. We saw the sights. The Czech currency is weak. We got drunk. €1 for half a litre. €1 for half a litre. That's like shy of a pint. That's a lot of beer for €1. That's amazing. Every night. Oh, that sounds like my sort of trip. In Germany, we pay €3.5 for half a litre. Oh, yeah. How much is that? Oh, 620 litres in that. That's £2 for that bottle. So hang on, £2. So it's probably works out €1.50 for you. Oh no, €1.50, so €2. Yeah, probably €2 for 500 ml of this. That is from the supermarket in the UK. Yeah, you know, it's funny sometimes you can get cheap beer and you think this is great, but a headache next morning, that still costs you. A headache the next morning still costs. So, yeah, it's a lovely smelling whiskey. That green apple's definitely coming through on the nose. Dark chocolate, that green apple, like I said, vanilla, and then It's quite citrusy towards the end, with like a bit of sea salt and like that wet grass, like freshly cut grass. My boss was from the country. His beers he recommends were amazing. I can imagine. One Czech beer that I like is Staropromen. Staropromen. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but that's a good bloody beer. I've got a glass in the cupboard. Staropromen, I think it's called. That's a really good one. Yeah, God, there's so many good beers out there. If you look for green apple, yes, 12 is your way to go. Yes. Yeah, that fresh green apple sort of. You know, sometimes some of the descriptions with whiskey, it's not so much that the thing tastes like it. It reminds you of it. You know, sometimes flavour it reminds you of another flavour. Does that make sense? You know, it's like, I'm trying to think of an example. You know, for example, you drink a whiskey and it might remind you of Christmas cake. Now, it doesn't taste of Christmas cake. It tastes of that scenario or that situation where you're eating Christmas cake and maybe you've got a whiskey with you, or it's got whiskey in the Christmas cake. It reminds you of a situation that you have associated with the flavour of that whiskey. That's what I would say. Sometimes I'll sometimes taste or smell a whiskey and think of a description and think, no, I'm not going to say that because it's not right. For example, a while back I was tasting a whiskey and I said it smelt like furniture polish or varnish or something like that, because that is what it smelt like to me. So, you know, there's not a right and a wrong description for whiskey. If you think you know what that tastes like and it reminds you of something, say it. You know, even if it's like really weird. Like one whiskey, I said it smelled like new shoes. I don't know, just reminded me of new shoes, so I just said new shoes. I think it was the glue, like the hole that the new shoes were made from, is what I was actually smelling. But it reminded me of the new shoes. I was like, I got new shoes. Yeah. But yeah, it's probably the glue. Got that more chemically sort of smell, you know. It's good. Do like the 18-year-old cracking whiskey. Really good. I think it's going to win prizes. I think it's going to win a lot of prizes. Yeah. So, what's everybody up to tomorrow? Any plans? Any big events? Well, there's no big events just now, is there? We're all still COVID-fied. Oh, good. On a Sunday. Well done, you. I never studied on a Sunday when I was a student. What are you studying anyway, real water killer? What's your subject? What is your degree in? No, do you know what? Don't do video games. Nah. No, whiskey and a bike. I'll go out on the bike maybe, on my mountain bike, do a few trails. But no, don't do video games. But if you want to check out a video gamer, oh, of course, yes. Sorry, you already told me that. Yeah, English and history teacher. Well done. If you like video gaming, there is a guy that was streaming, not currently streaming, Dog Bandit 94. Check him out. Will I type it in here? If I do at, will that like Dog Bandit 94? There you go. Go on. Follow him. He's quite good with the gaming. He's on the Call of Duty Warzone, I think it's called. Don't ask me. I'm no gamer. Last game I played was Need for Speed something or other. It was on the PlayStation 2. Still got a PlayStation 2 somewhere. Need for Speed. That was my thing. Driving games. This is when I was like 13, 14. I was big into it. Yoff, thank you very much for the chat, Reel. It's been really good chatting to you. Good luck with your studies. Enjoy your Bowmore 12. I will try my best to get some Bowmore 12 in, just especially for you. Thank you for the follow as well. Really appreciate that. Hopefully, I'll see you again soon. Cheers. Thank you very much. Guten Abend. Guten Abend. There you go. It's my best German. Guten Nacht. Guten Nacht. Guten Nacht. Cheers. So that's it. That is the last whiskey tonight. The 18-year-old. That is me. Really enjoyed just a quick sort of stream out of nowhere. Just thought I'd catch you all off guard. Had a good chat with Real Waterkiller from Germany. Really good chat with him. A few of the comments from Mother Jan and Kayev's93. Really good to see them in the chat. Yeah, really good. So try and be a bit more regular with my streams. I know I'm a little bit stop-start just now, but I'll try and be a bit more regular. Yeah, just keep it going, really. So yeah, hope you all enjoyed. I really enjoyed myself, and we will see you all guys next time. So good night, take care, see you on the flip side.